The 2021 NFL Draft is quickly approaching, and we are back here for more Overtime to look ahead and preview the talent that's available within this upcoming draft. I'm Larra Overton alongside Matt Taylor. The draft last year for the wide receiver position was good to the Indianapolis Colts. Not only did you get Michael Pittman Jr. in there, you also picked up Desmond Patman in that later round. You have T.Y. Hilton coming back, but the talent, the prospects are plentiful yet again in 2021 at this position.
Oh, you hit the nail right in the head right there. I mean, the Colts have 10 receivers on their roster at the moment, including T.Y. Hilton, as you said, coming back to the team in free agency. 6 guys returned that caught a pass for you last season, including Michael Pittman. Paris Campbell's coming back. Zach Pascal is as durable as they come. You still like Desmond Patman, although he was inactive for all of last season. And then Ashton Dulin and DeMichael Harris, an undrafted free agent for you last year, provide value. And so you like what you have, but to your point, there are so many tantalizing prospects at wide receiver in this draft class that, hey, maybe if the situation presents itself, I just think you can never have too many playmakers, especially when you're bringing in a new quarterback like Carson Wentz. It's going to be really interesting to see how the board falls for the Colts in relation to the wide receiver depth in this draft class.
So you're going to have options there as the Colts currently sit at number 21 in that first round. Of those wide receiver options and how they are ranked, who leads the conversation currently at that position?
Well, I think, again, this is the deepest group in the draft. I'm classifying it as bottomless. Like, you go to Golden Corral and you want seconds, you want thirds. That's this draft class at wide receiver. I mean, according to most mock drafts, most analysts,
that's like my popcorn at the movie theater.
It just keeps going. Like, where do you keep getting this ample supply? But I mean, there's up to as potentially 20 wide receivers that have first through round 3 grades on them. You could see up to 7 wide receivers go in the first round and potentially 10 to 13 receivers in the first couple of rounds. So leading the charge at wideout in this group, Jamar Chase out of LSU, probably a top 10 pick. He opted out of the 2020 season because of COVID-19, but the year before that, he was unquestionably the best receiver in college football. That year won the Bolitnikoff Award, guided the Tigers to a national championship, led the FBS, was second in the SEC all-time for receiving yards, had 20 receiving touchdowns that year. Supremely talented guy, and by all accounts should be a future Pro Bowler, according to most talent evaluators. Then after that, Devonta Smith out of Alabama should be gone in the top half of the first round. There's been some debate over his weight. He's only coming in at $170, but you can't debate his play on the field. Won the Heisman Trophy this past season, the Bolitnikoff Award, the Walter Camp Award. He was first-team All-AP, SEC Offensive Player of the Year this past season. Led all college football with 23 touchdowns. That put him 5th in the career all-time nationally. He also led the country in catches and receiving yards. So he's going to be gone potentially by the time the Colts pick there at 21. After that, though, look out for Jalen Waddle out of Alabama. He's probably a top 25 pick, still a first-round pick despite a broken ankle this past season. The year before that, he was second-team AP All-American, was the SEC Special Teams Player of the Year, led the nation in punt return average at an unbelievable 24 yards per punt return, electric with the ball in his hands, and when he's healthy, he should be able to come into the league as one of the fastest guys, right away in the NFL. After that, Kedarius Tony out of Florida. He's got a round 1 or a round 2 grade on him, played both running back and receiver in college, but exploded at receiver this past season. Averaged 14 yards per catch, had 10 touchdowns, voted second-team All-American, first-team All-Conference in the SEC, a really versatile playmaker. He can line up in the slot and also do some damages, potentially with the ball in his hands in the running game on jet sweeps, and you can see him running down the seam as well. Then after that, Terrace Marshall out of LSU, another Tiger on this list. He's going to be gone probably by round 2 at the absolute latest. Started the first 7 games last season, led the team in receiving, and he also had 10 touchdowns, but then opted out the remainder of the season. He's big, he's fast, and really took advantage of that opportunity this past season to be the number 1 guy after Jamar Chase opted out.
So although the SEC prospects dominate the conversation at the top of the list, a few other names to keep in mind. Tutu Atwell from Louisville, Rashad Bateman from Minnesota, Rondell Moore, the New Albany, Indiana native, but represented the Purdue Boilermakers, who had a lot of
guys in your neck of the woods.
Monstrous pro day,
no doubt,
for Rondell Moore. Marcus Stevenson out of Houston, and Sage Surratt from Wake Forest. So among those names, the 10 or so names that you are going to see in the conversations leading up to the 2021 NFL Draft, which will begin on April 29th, April 30th, and then finish up on May 1st, a little bit later for the draft this year. That gives us just all the more time to get excited and have all of the conversations leading up to those picks. The Colts currently hold 6 picks in that upcoming NFL Draft.